Hey guys, this is Sean Cruz here. I'm an FO at Piedmont, and recently I spent time with one of my classmates, and he really hadn't put his whole mind around the bidding process and the ins and outs. I managed to learn a lot from a lot of captains, asked a lot of questions, and then I had a 4-day with a really good captain one day, and he basically really gave me some insight, and that's what I'm going to give to you guys. So hopefully, I know nobody teaches this stuff, and I ran into 2 FOs recently, super nice people, and they were just sort of lost to a certain extent. So I'm putting this together to kind of walk you through the bidding, the process, how to do it, what to do, what I do, and how to make it work for you, because there is a little bit of strategy to it, and if you put a little time in, you can generally make life a little bit better for yourself. So anyway, this is the first part of it, and I'm going to jump back in time because we're into the bidding process, but I'm going to cut this video like bids just got posted. So if you go to the crew room and you have a folder, by the way, if you don't have a folder, make your own, okay? Because mine didn't get made for the longest time. Someone kept telling me, oh, they're going to make you a folder. And finally one day, I had a SOE flight attendant was like, come on, let's just make a folder for you. And they did. So if you don't have a folder, just make one and stick it in alphabetical order in your appropriate thing, and you'll be good to go. But anyway, you go get the big packet. If you're out of base and you don't have the opportunity to go get the packet, you can get everything that you need. And basically, everything you need is right here. So first off, April bid lines, Philadelphia FO. Boom, click that, and here come all the bid lines, okay? So right there are all the bid lines, and if you're at home, get some paper and just print it out. And some people get a little bit wound up about the printing and stuff. For me, it's an investment, because if you can make your schedule work a little bit better for yourself, it's a little nicer daily life. So you do that. Then some people, if you're doing this at home, you can print out the crew cards, and there they are, okay, from top to bottom. Obviously, that's a lot of paper. I prefer not to print out the crew cards, and here's why. Because if you're at home and you're doing your bid lines and you click this, okay, if you're on a Mac, it basically works the same way. It's just a little less intuitive and I have a Windows and a Mac. If you're on a Windows machine and you click the trip, it pops the crew card right up there, which is really cool. If I remember correctly on a Mac, and I'm not on my Mac right now, but if you click a Mac, it opens up a separate window or something like that. I can't remember. It's not quite as convenient as the window machine, but it's basically really simple. So you want to, that's where you get your crew cards. If I'm doing this at home and I haven't been down at the station, at the crew room to pick up my bid lines, the bid package, then I just do it at home. I print out the bid lines, and then when I'm looking at a trip, like let's say I was looking at let's say I was looking at this one, and that one gets back to Philly. I want to know when it gets back to Philly. I can just click on that and go, okay, it returns at 2:29 that Saturday. And then what I would do is I would write it down, and you'll see that on the next video. So that's the bid lines and the crew cards. Everybody you say, okay, well, the cover letter, boom, click first officer, APR package. There's your cover letter right there. It's going to come right up. Okay, there's the exact cover letter that is on the front of the bid package, right? And this is March right there. That's when they're due. That's when they're published. That's when they're due. That's when the bid period closes. Final awards posted, etc., etc., etc. Okay. And reserve bids come out, reserve bids return, reserve bids final. I have not done anything with reserve, so I'm not even going to touch it, but I don't think there's a whole lot of rocket science behind bidding reserve. Pilot bid memo, this is also in the packet, okay? Medicals due, slots for training slots, okay? This is all right in there. Training slots for bid, etc. All that information is in there. So if you're at home, like if you live in Charlotte or whatever, and you don't get a chance to get up there, or you finish a trip the day before the packets are going to be printed, then you can go in here and just get all this stuff. And I know it seems simple, but no one ever really told me where to get all this stuff. I sort of found it over time. And then available vacation. So if you're looking at, getting a vacation, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. Open vacation time, it tells all the slots that are open for captain, all the slots that are open for FO, and that's pretty much, just tells the open slots. Pretty easy. So one thing I will tell you is, if you have come out of, you started with the company and you come out of, random time during the year, you come out of training, you finish SOE, and now you're on the line, then you can work on your first vacation slot. Instead of going through the normal bid process for vacation is in October, and then the secondary bid is in November. You're going to have to email, when you put in for that initial slot, you're going to email Mike Carruth. He said to say, what you do is pull this up, and, during the bid period, when you're bidding, you say, okay, well, there's a slot here for June 16th to June 30th, and you can put an email together, send it into Mike Carruth, Kurutz. You can find it pretty easily in the directory. Mike Carruth, send it in and say, I'd like to bid for that slot, first officer slot. I just finished, I'm on SOE, and I'd like to get June 16th to 30th. And then he won't email you back. You either have to go in and look at the annual vacations, which is here, after the bidding period ends. You can email him back, and he'll, of course, tell you if you got it, or you just go in here after the new one is published, which is after the bidding period closes, or sometime thereafter, and then you can see, if you got awarded. And what it'll tell you, basically, is just go up here, make it easy. So you look at, like, if this is you here, you say, oh, yeah, you see a 5 there. Okay, if you have one vacation slot, it's worth 5 days. So then if it's in there, hey, boom, you got it. So, okay? So that's basically getting all the information that comes in the packet if you're remote. So that's it for now. The next thing I'm going to show you is sort of a rudimentary. I shot it with my iPhone. A rudimentary way that I go over my bid package, and I mark it up, and I do spend a little time, and that was a captain taught me how to do that, is to mark it up according to your preferences, and that's on the next part of this video. So hope you enjoy. Hey guys, my name's Sean. I've been in Piedmont about 1.5 years, and I'm putting together a video because I've recently come across even someone that was in my class who truly didn't understand how to bid correctly. So I'm going to try and put this video together and get it out for the next bidding period, but I wanted to go through some of the ins and outs of bidding at Piedmont. So this is going to be a real rudimentary video for right now. It's going to be a multi-part video here, and I'm cutting the first part. I don't even have a whole lot of time because I got to catch a van here in about 15 minutes. But the first part that I do in bidding, the most important thing that I want to talk to you about bidding is, the first thing you need to do is you sit down with your bid package, whether you print it out, and I'll show you where to do that. I'm going to do some screen capture videos. But the first thing you want to do is basically you have to sit down with what's important to you. Now, I live in base, so I don't want this to come off as, oversimplistic or whatever, but I do live outside of Philly. I drive to work. But I can tell you right now how I bid. I typically bid for weekend days off or a mix of weekend days. And maybe on a particular month, I have a particular day that I want off. So the very first thing that I do in bidding is I get the bid package, and you can print it out yourself. So if you're not there to get it out of your folder or whatever up in the crew room. And then what I do is I go through and I circle the days off that I absolutely am looking to get off. Now, I'll just show you right here. This is line 301. And basically on line 301, you can see that this Sunday, I'm looking to have off on this Sunday, so I circled it, okay? And then I go down, and you can see I put a line here like this. This shows when I would get back. And like I said, I typically look for weekends off or a combination of Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, Monday. This shows, this is my little thing. I put a little bracket here, or whatever you want to call it, because it shows that I'll be returning to Philly, and then I have the next day off. If I leave on a Sunday, you can see that I I'm off, and then I start the trip right here. So the first thing I do, I go through this packet several times, and what I do is I mark it up. And you can see on this one, you can see 303 has the Sunday that I'm looking for off, weekend, 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 weekend. That is a real nice line for me. Now, it is 303, so the chances of me getting it are probably slim. But the one thing I found is that when I do put effort into putting a bid together, it generally works out a little bit better in your favor. So the thing that I recommend first, and this is the first part of this video, is to sit down and know what days off you want. I have actually talked to people that bid destinations. They actually bid particular destinations because they like the overnights. Or they bid, you know, obviously, you know, you have your 14 days off, 13, 12, 11. You know, and there's advantages to bid in different lines, you know, versus other things. But, you know, some people bid for the maximum days off. And, you know, that can be a real easy bid, which is bid them in top to bottom. And, you know, you grab a 14, 13, or 12, you know, if there's something available when your number's called, so to speak. So what I recommend doing is going through and picking out whatever's important to you. Go through and highlight, circle, you know, come up with your own little system. And I literally go through the packet. As you can see, I've pretty well marked this up. You can see on this one, I've gone through and it shows 7:44 p.m. is when I get back to Philly. 12:24 p.m. was when I get back to Philly. 3:05 p.m., you know, is when I get back. So that's what I do with the packet. You know, whatever is your particular interest, and that could change from month to month. But you know, if you have a wedding to go to, let's say that you had a wedding to go to on the 21st and 22nd. Well, you obviously this would be huge that you want to try and get those days off. You know, and I'll talk about a couple of different things like, you know, bidding a build-up line and having golden days and where to put that stuff. And I also recommend I put a little time in. I go through the packet once. I set it aside, and I come back and I revisit it, because as you go through it each time, you'll see, believe it or not, you'll see different things. You'll pick up on different things. So that's the first step of bidding. With what I do is go through and mark up all of the lines according to what is particular. If you're a person, you want to get the maximum number of, you know, New England overnights, whether it's Boston, Bangor, Portland, Manchester, whatever, then you would go through and highlight those things, you know, depending on what your preference is. So this segment's been 5 minutes. I'm actually looking at the clock. It's 18 after. I'm going to have to head down to the van pretty soon. So that's the first part of the video. That's the first thing that I recommend in bidding. Go through and mark it up. Don't worry about anything else right now. Mark it up according to what days off you're looking for, and what's most important to you. And then what I'm going to do, the next part will be developing a list, you know, making your list, and I'll get into the 48-hour bid period. I'll show you how to do a screen capture. I'll show you how to pull the, you know, the preliminaries don't come out. It says right here, if you look, initial bids posted for, they'll go in tomorrow. Today's the 12th. Bids are due by Tuesday by 5 o'clock. However, on the 14th, you can literally get the initial bid posting, and I'll show you how to do that. It's not something that is you know, advertised, but it is something that you can do. So anyway, that's my first part of the video. I'll see you guys in the next part. Okay, guys. Second part of the video, second step in bidding. After I've gone through and marked up, you know, the bid package according to preference here, as you can see, I've put all kinds of different marks. And let me just give you an example. Go back here. The first line that I found for my preferences, I have line 303 here, and I circled the days off, okay? And that would require NM, no moves. So I circled that one and put no moves. Then I went through and I found all the ones that would be no moves, which means I would bid that line, get it, and I wouldn't have to do any swaps or anything. The second one would be one move. So 1M stands for one move, which means this one right here, without getting into detail, for whatever reason, I would want to attempt to move it. Or make an adjustment. And then right next to it, you can see here's a 3M. That would require 3 moves, which, sounds like a lot. And then, of course, 2 moves. So, second time through, I go through and categorize each individual line into some sort of category, and whatever it might be for you. I mean, if you're a commuter, obviously your trips would want to be commutable. According to the commuter clause, you need at least 2 opportunities, so obviously you need to figure that all out. But you'll start to develop patterns and stuff like that. So that's what I do. Now, I've gone through this 3 times, believe it or not, different sittings. It didn't take me too long. And then once I was done that, then I go over and I start to categorize them. Well, NM, obviously, those are top. Those are real easy to put in. 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves. And when I go through these, what I do is I start to put them in order of preference. Obviously, the no moves would be up here near the top. But then, ironically, I actually found a 1 move that I wanted higher than a no move. And that was because there's a couple of days in here, my kids have a big competition, and I want to be home to help them get ready for their competition. And actually, this line 353 makes more sense for my schedule because I would actually leave, it came up as a 1 move, but I would actually leave 1 trip alone and it would work out better. And then what I start to do is I start to put them in order of what I want to bid. And then what I start to do, and this gets a little bit crazy, you can actually kind of lose your head a little bit. You start to put these in order that you want to bid them. And like I said, you go through them a couple times and you actually start to put them in. You can see here 318 is a 1 move, 374 is a 1 move, but 330 is a 2 move, and that's in higher than some of the 1 moves. So then what you start to do is you start to sort them out. And what I basically have kind of done with myself is, sort them out. You start to sort them out, but you can literally start to go baddies. You start to look at these lines, and I go back and, of course, if I want to look at when a trip ends, I got to go to the back and pull up the crew cards. And there's a way to do it online, too, if you have a computer. It works better on a laptop. Because you can actually go into the crew cards, click on the trip, and it'll pop up the crew card, which is kind of nice. But you know what? I found that just flipping to the back and finding it actually works pretty good too. Then you don't necessarily need to be in front of a computer. And then what I start to do is I start to drop these in order of how I want to bid them. And basically you see them fit in. And, I've kind of gotten carried away a couple of months where I try not to spend too much time, but, you kind of put them in order. And really, it'll kind of start to kind of come alive to you. And then, so these are the 1, 2, and 3 moves. And then, again, the competition is called TSAs. You can see, if you can see that. And then what I went through and I just found pure lines that are good to help my kids that have days off right before that competition. And these are the ones that I'll just backfill. You can look on the bid sheet and see your ranking, and I think I'm in the 30s right now, 37, 38, or I might have actually bumped up because I know guys flowed. So I might be, a little higher, but I generally bid about, 35 to 40 lines. The thing I found is as I did this technique over a couple of months, I began to find that I kind of know how many lines I have to bid, and I kind of know when I start putting numbers in here that I know I'm probably going to hit somewhere in here. Now, I just, I'm more of a careful guy, so I want to make sure that I drop enough lines in here so that, just chance if the first 15, 18 guys in front of me choose these lines, well, then obviously I don't want to just go out the chance. And, people have said to me before, what happens if you don't put anything down? Well, they'll just go through. If you don't put a bid in, they'll just go through, and when your name comes up, they go to the highest line that's available, and they give you that line. That's how it'll work if you don't submit anything. And if you were to just submit in order, 301 to 4, whatever it is, 430 something this month, basically when your name comes up, they would go to the highest one that you bid and you get that one. So I find it better to make sure you put a bunch in there, and then when I'm done with my preferences, I just sort of have a bunch that I backfill in with all right there. So this is like 40 numbers. So anyway, that's how I do it. it's kind of late. It's kind of crazy with the way the day worked out. I'm a little concerned about tomorrow not being able to put my bid lines in. So I stayed up late to go ahead and do all this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put all these in, and that's pretty simple. I hope I don't need to show that to you, but you go to the monthly bid submit form, you click on it, and you just pop all these in order. Also, when I put my bid in, I also like to put a little note in there for scheduling that these are my bids in order of preference. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call. And then I hit submit. Make sure you get a confirmation email. Okay? So that's the second part of this video. The next part of the video, I'm going to try and do a screen capture when the day after bids are accepted, so I can show you how to find that initial bid report, because I know, it took me a while to realize how to get that initial bid. And basically what it is just the breakdown of, like, this guy got this line, this person got this line, blah, 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 blah. And then you can look on there and see what line you got assigned. So that should be the next video. And that'll be the next part. See ya. All right, guys. This is the second part of the video with bidding. So I'm just going to go over the next part. Basically, where we are in the process. Bids have closed. I submitted the bids. I think I showed you how to mark up the bid package according to what your interests are, what your preferences are, and then from there, day 2 here. Part 2 of the video. Basically, you're going to go to Piedmont, and you're going to go to the home screen and then click on bid packages and awards, which I think everybody should be familiar with that link. And preliminaries came out. Now, according to the bid package, it says initial awards are posted Friday, March 16th by 1700, which is true. That's when they'll come out. However, you can get an idea of what line you got. You can find out what line you were awarded. And the way to do that is a little confusion. I'm just going to show that to you. You go to April, awards, prelim, and don't touch any of this. That's the headache that everybody runs into. They put their base in there, they put their position in there, just click go. And you can see over here that what happens is now all the captain awards come out, all the FO awards come out, and then you basically just go down and find your name, which I did, and I'm right there, and I got line 374. Right there, 374. So now I know what line I got awarded. So what I usually do is I go back and I pull and I'll do it on here so it's easier to see, pull the bid lines. Now this I will go ahead and put Philly, Philly, and I will put first officer in there, click go, then they all come up. Okay, the cool thing about this is, see the hyperlink here? So if you want to see this trip, and this is on window based, it's a little different on Mac, you click that and it pops the trip up. So let me get down to my line here, which I got awarded 374 based on my preferences. I got my fourth, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, my fifth choice. So here we go. So in this instance, this is a one move for me, and I want to show this to you because I'm going to go through the 48-hour drop thing when it opens up. So the one trip that I would want to move, this is the trip I was looking at. The one that I would want to move here is this trip that 5 Charlie 37, which opens on Wednesday, and that looks like the 4th, and it's a 6:30 departure. So it's a later, it's a 5:30, 5:29 report. So then anyway, here's a boom, and ends on Saturday at 2:12. So that's the only one that I'm going to put in, and I want to show you guys the process. And all I'm going to do is try and bump it up there because I'm going to try and open up that weekend, and it may or may not work. But anyway, that's the one I'm going to do. This trip down here, typically I like to have my Saturdays and Sundays, family day. However, this one leaves at 3:55 in the afternoon, so that's kind of on the back end of the weekend. So I'm probably going to leave that there, leave that the way it is, and just kind of go with it. So anyway, that's the basic next part of the whole video. I just wanted to show it to you. So now we've marked up the bid sheet, get your package or print it out. And you know what? I didn't have my screen capture software. So real quick, and this is sort of jumping back in time, but actually, you know what? I'm going to leave it the way it is. I'm going to do a separate video, and I'll put that up front there in the front, so it's kind of in in order for you. So, all right. So, and the next part will actually be the monthly bid form, which I'm sorry, the 48-hour request, and this is the hyperlink right here, 48-hour request. When that opens, we're going to go in. I'm going to show you how to get all the open times, and then we're going to submit. And this is super important because it's got to be exact, otherwise they'll literally just ignore it. So you want to make sure that the 48-hour request form is real important. So anyway, quick little section here, and I'll do the next section when the 48-hour period opens. Okay, hey guys, Sean here. Next section is the 48-hour request period. This is the section that probably kind of confuses most people, but this is also the time at which you can really kind of hone your schedule to what you want. So the initial award posted. The initial awards are posted right now. It's I'm cutting this in live time as best I can. It's March 16th at 1500. It just went by. I just finished dinner. 48-hour bid period closes on Sunday. So that is now open. The hard lines are out, and the 48-hour request period is open. So what I'm going to do, I'm working two computers here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the way to do this 48-hour request. Now what I did is obviously I came in here, clicked on bid lines, and you come to the website here. The place to find open time, okay, I'm going to show you right now. You go here to View Bid Awards, April, next month, and it's going to be open flying, and you're going to click initial. And then you can click Philly, and you can click FO, which we only have a base right there. And that's going to bring up all of the listed open flying, as you can see, that just popped up. Now, I'm over here. I have the bid line on my other computer, and not a big deal. I'm just looking at the original line. Now, I was awarded line 374, so I'm going to do this in real time. I'll go ahead and bring this up. Well, if I come back here, go to awards and go to initial, it comes up. There it is right there. And I scroll down. Let's just do this, page down, and it's going to come up. You'll see right there. There I am, Sean. I got my fifth choice based on how I do this, and you can see all of my line. And that's just the pure line. It matches up with the published line, okay? So come down here, you click on awards. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and swap out, okay, whoops, that's awards, my bad. I want to go to open flying, initial FO, and it comes right up. There we go, boom, okay? And so looking at, there's a ton of open flying, and I am actually looking to swap out a trip on the 2nd, Monday the 2nd. So as you can see here, 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-2. Now my trip starts on the 4th, so there's a bunch on the 4th. So I only have one option here, as you can see, to swap that trip out. Okay, so basically it's a 5 Bravo 00. Okay, now I know I'm trying to move that trip. Now actually this is a pretty good example, because if I don't get this award, then I'm going to be keeping an eye on open flying. Now I only have a couple of days to do it because there's nothing open on the 3rd. It's just kind of the way it worked out. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put this aside, and you're going to go over to the 48-hour request form. Now this is critical, guys, because it can become a winner or a loser for you. So what you're going to come over is the 48-hour request period, and you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to shrink this down so I can have both of them on the screen here. And sorry, this is not a professional video. I'm not intending it to be a professional video. It is just being done to help you guys out. Okay, so there we go. So boom. So here we go. You come on. It should have your crew member name, base, FO, employee number, seniority number. All right. So here, this is what it looks like. Now, this is huge. You see this right here? List the trip as follows. This is hugely important. I can't stress this enough. Okay, equipment ER4, Now you all know my phone number, so if you want to call me, give me a call. List the trip as follows. Origin date. Now, the first thing you want to do is list the trip that you're dropping. Okay? So, you're going to list the trip that you're dropping. So, I'm going to highlight this again. Now, for me, I don't even want to look at that trip because I know that my preference is to bump that trip up. So, I'm dropping 5 Charlie 37. So, you're going to put it in here in the order that it comes up. So, 5 Charlie 37 / the number of days the trip is. Okay, I'm sorry. The origin date, my bad. I see I already messed up. My trip starts on the 4th, so it's going to be 04 / 5 Charlie 37. All right, you see that right here? There's a trip, and the number of days is 4. All right, now I always triple check this. Then I want to add, and you can put the P in there. I don't know that the P has caused any major problems with anybody. I'll go ahead and put the P in here since we're doing it, and we'll do it, the whole way. We definitely can't miss with that. So the trip I want to pick up is 02 because it starts on the 2nd, which is that Monday. Okay, and then I'll go /, and I want to pick up 5 Bravo 00, and that is also a 4-day. Okay, that's it. Now make sure you double check this. I sat down with one of my buddies from class. He was having problems with bidding and getting his schedule the way he wanted it, and he called me and he's like, Sean, dude, I didn't get what I wanted. And we looked, he made a typo. And if there's a typo, they just ignore it. Okay? So that's my first request. The second request, I'm going to make a request to, let me see if there's anything on the 18th. So I'll come back over here, and there are 3 trips on the 18th. So this is going to take a little bit longer because what I want to do is I actually want to rank these trips. Now I'm actually going to look at the trip. So I would like my trip, instead of my trip starting on the 17th, I want my trip to start on the 18th. Now the things that are going to be important for me are going to be when I get back to Philly. Okay, now this gets back at 2:12. All right, now this could take it takes a little bit of doing here because what's going to happen is, and I'm going to pull this tab out. I'm going to open a second tab. I'm going to go in to the bid lines. I'm going to pull the bid lines. Okay, April, bid lines, Philly, and FO. This is actually good because it's showing you the whole deal. Whoops, my bad. I didn't want to pull the bid lines. I want to pull the crew cards. Okay, so 18th, 57.90. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a scrap piece of paper and a pen, and if it's highlighted here, okay, you can click this and it shows that that trip leaves out on Wednesday and gets back to Philly at 2:12. So 57.90 PHL 2:12. Okay, because for me it's all about the return to Philly. For you it might be, is it a commutable line? You have to look at all of those things. Okay, so what here I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the crew cards and click that. So the next trip I'm going to look at on the 18th is 5 Alpha 33. So I'm going to go down here. Like I said, I'm doing this in real time. So let's go down. There, let's just do this. I actually left the sheet up. Like I said, I have the bid package. It's upstairs in my room. I'm not going to go get it. I forgot to get it. So I'm going to do the whole thing on the computer. So 5 Alpha 35, 5 Alpha 33. Oh, 5 Alpha 33 is a 3-day. I don't know if they'll approve that. Okay? But, hey, you know what? That could be my first choice. 5 Alpha 33. It's a 3-day, gets back into Philly at 7:40 on Friday. And you know what? I'm going to make that my number one choice since it's a 3-day. I've never done that before. I've never traded a 4-day for a 3-day. But, hey, you never know. We'll see what happens. And then the last one is 5 Alpha 64. 5 Alpha 64. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide down a little bit. And that's 92, went too far. And there's 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. Okay, not a bad trip. gets back at 12:15. That's going to be my second choice. So 5 Alpha 64 gets into Philadelphia at 12:15 on Saturday. So now I just ranked these 3 trips that start on the 18th. I have, and these are all my notes, you really can't see them, but 5790 gets back to Philly. It's a 4-day, gets back to Philly at 2:12 in the afternoon. 5 Alpha 64 gets back on Saturday at 12:15, 2 hours earlier. I'll take that. 5 Alpha 33 is a 3-day. I don't know if they'll approve it, but I'm going to go ahead and stick it in there anyway, just for, hey, for crap's sake, you know what I mean? But, give me an extra day off, which is fine, because it's a 12-day line that I was awarded, so it would make it a 13-day line. So, now that we ranked them, we go back here, okay? And you don't need to see my piece of paper. I literally just wrote down. So, for you, if it's a commutable line, let's say that, on a Saturday, you want to return that Saturday, and on a Saturday there's a 3 o'clock flight and a 5 o'clock flight. Well, obviously you'd want to rank them in order so that you're back in enough time to make that 3 o'clock flight and gives you the opportunity to make the 5 o'clock flight. So the trip I'm looking to drop is on the 17th, so it's 17 / and I'm going to drop 5733, all right, and it's going to be a 4-day, okay? And then what I want to do in order of preference, I'm going to drop, so I'm going to go to the 18th, right? That's when the trip starts. 5 Alpha 33 starts on the 18th. I want to pick up 5 Alpha 33 / now that's a 3-day, okay? I've never done that before, but it's a 3-day. Now I'm going to double check this. I'm looking over at the crew line, the bid line, which shows on the 17th, line 374. You can look this up. Is going to be, and I got to put the P in there. I forgot the P. Is P 5733 and then P 5 Alpha 33. And it's a 3-day line. Now what I do, so I don't make any typos, and this is what my buddy did, instead of copying, he typoed it. He fat-fingered it, and it was his third request. He fat-fingered it, and they didn't give it to him. So this trip will start on the 18th. My second choice is going to be 5 Alpha 64, which gets back a little bit earlier. So Papa 5 Alpha 64, and that is a 4-day, okay? And then the last one is going to be the 18th, and that is going to be 5790, right? That one's easy. It's got a highlight. I don't know why some of them have a hyperlink and some of them don't, but that gets back at 2:12 in the afternoon. Right? Some people bid overnight, some, whatever. I don't. I don't really care where the destination is. I'm more looking for my days off. So I'm going to go Papa, and that's going to be 5790, and /4. Okay? So, first one is going to be on 370, line 374, if you pull this up in another screen or whatever. 5 Charlie 37, it's a 4-day. And I'm looking to pick up 5 Bravo 00, which is also a 4-day. So if I'm the highest, if my seniority is the highest requesting that, then I'll get it. The next one is on the 17th of line 374. I want to drop 5733. Starts on the 17th. It's a 4-day, and I want to pick up my first choice is 5 Alpha 33, 18th, 5 Alpha 64, double check. I double check, that's right here. And then the last one is 5790, which is right there, okay? And that's a 3-day, 4-day, 4-day, 18, everything looks good. All right, and then I'm going to take a look, just for sakes, and see if there's anything on the 30th, and there is not. I was considering a possible change, but that rolls into the next month, so there's not even one available, which is fine. Actually, there's a 29th. To see if it leaves later. I'd have to pull that up. I may submit the 29th. I have a trip that starts. It leaves kind of later in the day, but if that other trip leaves much later, then I may go ahead and put a put a request in for it. But right now I don't plan to. So anyway, that's the 48-hour request period. Okay, and then what I do is come down here and I usually just put this in. Oh. Okay, now I gotta fix all my... Okay, so what I did is I just put a little message in here, which I always do, just to be nice. Hello, scheduling. This is my request for trip swaps. I appreciate any and all efforts to fulfill my requests. They are listed in order of preference. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call. And then I put my email in here. Boom, there it is. And then my employee number. And then I usually, before I submit it, I go back and look. Crew member good, employee number good, phone number. There it is, 5. I'm going to bring the, looking back up here at line 374, is 5 Charlie 37. It starts on the 4th. It's a 4-day. I want to pick up this one, which is on the 2nd, which is 5 Bravo 00. It's a 4-day. And then I want to drop on the 17th. Let's go down here. So I want to drop P5733. Boom. That starts on the 17th. It's a 4-day. These are all the same because I copied them. I want to pick up 5 Alpha 33, which is a 3-day. That's my first choice. 5 Alpha 64, which is a 4-day, which is my second choice. And 5790. Double check it all, my little message, boom, crew number, and submit. Now I have my phone right here, so hopefully you should hear I will get an email. As soon as that says, I'll go through to my email for you. So then we don't need this anymore, so we can get rid of that. All right. So it says here, 48-hour request submitted successfully. You want to make sure you see that. And then I come down here, go to your webmail, and click in there. And hopefully, and typically it usually comes through pretty quick. There it is right there. 48-hour request submitted. And if you click on it, it shows you what you did. Request 1, drop, add, drop, add, drop, add. Boom, there you go. Okay? So the other thing I'm going to add into this, once bidding is done, okay, I just did this today and I found out something new, that my request for a trip swap was denied because coverage would drop below 1. And apparently they don't automatically approve anything if coverage drops below 5. That's what Michael told me. I don't even know what that means. Sorry, that's my daughter yelling in the background if you can hear. But real quick, what I do when I want to pick up a trip, okay, or drop a trip, you go in here. If you're looking to change a trip out, like let's say you didn't get your request, but you're looking to get a particular date off, so when you want to swap something out, every day at between 5 and 6 o'clock, the new daily open times are published, okay? So what happens is you click on FO and go in here. Anything with an R is going to be a R8000. Those are -8 numbers. And then anything with a P and a 5000, those are, these are ERJ 145 numbers. Sorry about that. So let's just say that we had a trip that starts on the 22nd for us, and we want to switch out and grab a trip that starts on the 23rd. The only thing you're going to do different, this is in the middle of the month, I always call scheduling and say, can you please send me a blank email? All right, call them up, send me a blank email because I'm going to put a trip swap request in, and they'll send you a blank email immediately. Then you do the exact same thing, and I'll show you what I did. Mine did not get approved, but I did send it, and boom, hello scheduling, here's my, so I did the same thing. I was looking to drop P5691 starting on May 18th. I'd like to pick up P5 Bravo 09 starting on the 19th. This is a 4-day, 5691 is a pretty nice schedule, blah, 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 blah. It's just my basic gibberish that I put in there, trying to be nice. I found out that if it's below a certain amount of coverage, whatever that means, that they don't do it. I didn't ask Michael what that meant. But anyway, there was my thing. Now, here's the thing. So you go in, like I said, and you open up and find a trip. So let's say that you wanted to get rid of a trip on the 21st, 22nd. You wanted to pick up a trip on the 23rd. We have 3 options. I do the same exact thing that I do when I do the 48-hour bid request. So in this instance, you'd want to go back in and you'd want to look at March crew cards, right? Because you want to see the trip. So you go in here, click go, and then you would want to open up. Now you keep this window open, all right? And then what you do is you find the trip and look at the trip. And then go back to your open time, right? And then on these 3 trips that start on the 23rd, 5986, 5 Bravo 15, and 5991, I would rank them in order of preference. Then you go in, you put together an email, and send it. If the email gets into crew scheduling by 3 p.m., they'll look at it that day. I never wait that long. I get it in first thing in the morning. So if you're looking for a trip swap, right, you're looking to do a swap in some capacity, typically what I do is I do it as soon as possible. Okay, I get in there, I do it either that evening from my hotel room, or I do it first thing in the morning. Okay, and then they will look at it by 3 and they'll have a decision typically by 5. So that's how you do just a basic trip swap. Okay, that one you have to send in. Now here's the other trick. You have to call in. It is the pilot's responsibility that you have to actually call in and find out whether you were given the award or not, which is a little bit, I almost got bitten on that one first out of the gate because I kept expecting to hear, didn't hear anything. And then finally the day before, I called a buddy and he's like, no, you got to call in. And I called and they're like, yeah, you were awarded. So I was starting the next day. I would have been bit because I wasn't, of course you got to prepare for your trip. So that's 48-hour bidding, okay? That's 48-hour bidding and open time flying. So basically, like I said, I'm going to send this over to a friend, and I want her to look at this, and I'm going to put the whole video together, and if I feel like it needs anything added onto it, I'm going to add on to it. But so basically when you're bidding, you're going to get the initial package. You can print out the bid lines right here for the month, right? You print them out, and then you mark them up, and that's in the first part of the video. The second thing is if you want to see the initial awards, right, you come in the day after bids are due, typically by 9-10 in the morning. You just click on this, leave these 2 the same, boom, and it'll come out and it'll give you what line you got. Then once the bid closes and the 48-hour period opens, right, and that's this time. There's the cover letter right here, right? Initial awards posted. Then the 48-hour bid period opens and it tells you when it closes. At that point, this is when you can click on that link and you can drop your trips. But again, you have to go through a little bit of work to see, well, let's go in here, I'm just revisiting it all. Open flying, preliminary, all, boom, click it. Oh, I forgot to, in open flying, you need to do this and that, and then it'll come up. Oh. Initial, my bad. Initial. And then it comes up with the trips that are available, and that's for the month. If you look up here, issued this date, and this is for, and it should tell you the following month. Okay, so it's bid period for April 18th, so obviously this goes all the way into April. Okay, so that's what the dates are for. So that's what that open flying time is for. So yeah, bid period April of 18. So it says it right there. So anyway, that's how you do your 48-hour bid requests. And then again, if you don't get it, if you don't get it, and it's if it's right in the beginning of the month, it's going to be a little tougher. But if it's at least on second or third week out, then you just come in every day. You get to your hotel or wherever it is, 5 o'clock. Boom, you look on here and you say, boom, 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 21st. Bam, I was looking to drop a trip on whatever date. I was looking for a trip to start on the 21st. And then what you do is you put your email together and send it to crew scheduling. So that's pretty much it. Sorry this section was long, but this is about the longest of the process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to button this up, and if I'm going to send it over to an FO that I was working with recently and let her take a look at this. And if she likes it, then I'm going to send it out and tell everybody to share it. And, if you ever have any questions, it's Sean Cruz. You've seen my name up here now. Just make sure you spell it correctly, Kreuz. Feel free to email me. You have my number. Feel free to text me. If you do text me and we've never met, just make sure you put in there that you're a Piedmont FO and you have a question on bidding or something, okay? The only reason I did it is because one of my friends who I went to class with really hadn't caught on to it and was just taking whatever they gave him. And then I sat down with 2 FOs up in the crew room, and they were like asking me tons of questions. So I decided to do this to help out because once you understand this whole thing with the system we have in place now if PBS comes out and we get PBS, then it's going to be a whole different animal. But you kind of can make it work for yourself, and at least give yourself, if you're a commuter, give yourself a little bit better quality of life. And if you live in base, you can really make things nice for yourself. Even when I started out, right out of the gate, I asked a lot of questions and had some really good senior captains help me out. So I'm just trying to pay it forward a little bit, and give back a little bit. So anyway, feel free to contact me via email or text, hopefully we'll be down the line someday. Talk to you soon. Hey guys, Sean here, coming at you for the final segment of the bidding video. I had to actually call in sick the other day. I got a pretty nasty sinus infection. I'm still not 100%, so you have to bear with me. But anyway, I want to run over this last segment. The 48-hour bid window closed on Sunday, and if you check your cover letter, it's 3/21. And it's in the morning, finals are out. So what you're going to do is you're going to come to the, bid packages and awards here. Actually, I'll just do it so you see it. Home page, right? Home page, down to the bottom, bid packages and awards. April, awards, final, Philly, FO, and click go. And it brings up your the finals, the way they've been awarded. So I'm going to page down. I knew I got 374. You should remember that from earlier in the video. And then you're going to take a look and see if you got your 48-hour bids. Now, I already looked this over. 374. I did not get that swap on the second. Now, there was only one opportunity to get one for the second or the third, and I didn't get it. So, I'm going to live with that trip, which is fine. Not a big deal. I've done that before. And then when I scroll down, I did one on the 17th. Now, I did get awarded one here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring up, let me see, I think I had another window open here. I did. I'm going to bring up that one right there. So I looked this over so I can kind of facilitate it because something did catch my eye. And I was a little confused, which I'm actually going to look into, kind of learn as you go here. So anyway, you can see on the 4th, I tried to drop this trip, and it was 5 Bravo 00. Now I already went through, and I found the guy that got awarded 5 Bravo 00, and he is higher seniority than me, so that's why I didn't get it. So you come down here to the 17th, wanted to drop 5733. All right, and the reason, I'll just tell you, the reason I wanted to drop, let me just make sure it's correct, this, and you'll see that now I only have 1 day off in between these trips. The reason I did that is because I'm helping my kids are all going to a state competition, and I'll be that's why I did that. Otherwise, I would have left it. I would have had the weekend off, the full weekend. And my wife is going to be out at that competition with them, so it made sense for me to do that swap. So anyway, 5 alpha 33, didn't get it. Okay, 5 alpha 64, didn't get it. Where am I here? 5790, I got it. Okay, now one of the things that I noticed when I was actually, this is the second take on this video, is, and I'm going to show you where to go in open time, but I went in here 18th, 5 alpha 33, 5 alpha 33. It was a 4-day for a 3-day, and they did not approve it. Okay, let me get rid of that. They did not approve it. And I'm actually going to send an email to Mike Karutz and ask him, say I was only a 12-day line. It was a 4-day for a 3-day. Why didn't it get approved? And see what he says. I have no idea why it wouldn't have gotten approved. But anyway, so that's how you look in here. And like I said, if you want, you can go through. If you want to double check, like if, for me, 5 Bravo 00 did not get awarded. And if you want to go through and find out why, what you do is just go through to, the second day of the month, and just look across until you find the person that that got awarded, right? Second, boom, there he is, Williams. And this guy has a higher seniority number than me, so I know that was a proper award. So anyway, so now that maybe you got your awards, maybe you didn't. The last step in, kind of making things work for you is, let's say that you didn't quite get everything you wanted. Okay, maybe you're looking, you have, maybe you have a barbecue on a weekend that you're trying to swap, and you really want to go because it's an old friend of yours, whatever. Every day, now that the bidding is done, and if you still want to make one more change, every day, up until the last 2 days before your trip were to start, it's between 5 and 6 o'clock. I usually just do it at 6 o'clock because it's always out. You're going to go into daily open times and click FO. Okay? And click FO. And what it's going to bring up, it's going to bring up everything that is open. Okay? Down here, the R8000 is -8 stuff. And this is all ER4 right here. So what you do is come up, the date is 3/21, so obviously this was updated last night, and this goes from 3/21 to 4/30. Shows all the open times. You'll see 22, 23, 24, 26, 29, 31, a lot on 31, and then it clicks over, obviously, to the first of the month, April 1st, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, bunch on the 14th, and then 15th. Now you can look and see, these are just open trips. They're not putting them out there for triple premium they're not doing. And double premium, well, nobody's picking them up. But anyway, if you want to swap, like for me, I'm going to send an email to Mike Karutz and say, hey, I had put in for 5 alpha 33 on the 18th. It's all right now I have 12 days off. I still would have been okay. Is there any chance I can still get that? It doesn't hurt to ask. But what you'll do, if you find a trip, let's say that you are starting a trip on the 23rd and you really want to start a trip on the 22nd. What you're going to do is you're going to come in here and you say, hey, 2 trips on the 22nd are available. Let's say it's like the 2nd of the month and these 2 trips pop up, right? So let's say these 2 trips pop up. What I always do is I call scheduling and ask them to send me a blank email. Because God knows if they change the email or whatever, you're going to have the wrong email. Then I do the same format as in the previous, your 48-hour bid. I would like to drop this trip starting on the 23rd. It is P whatever, and I want to pick up in order of preference, and I would rank these 2 in order of preference and say I would like to pick up 5683. If that's not available, I'd like to pick up 5540 or whatever. Basically, the bottom line is always put them in order of preference, be clear, and put extra information in there. And I always add, if there's any questions, please don't hesitate to call me and get me on the phone or whatever. So that's basically it in a nutshell. When it comes to vacation, the annual vacation bid is in October or November. And if you miss, if obviously you come out of SOE training and now you can bid, you can bid a line, you haven't been assigned your vacation. You get one vacation slot. The way to do it, I think we did this, you go in and open up the annual vacation slots available. Okay, you can see annual vacations here and find a slot that works for you. Okay, now this is not the initial vacation bid. This is, like I said, if you're coming in through the year. And these are the awards, right? So if you haven't been awarded, it won't be on here. You won't have your name on here. You can see there's a bunch on here that haven't been awarded. So if you come out of training, you should have a vacation slot. Then what you want to do is you want to go over and look. Like I said, when you open this, it'll tell you the available vacation slots. Find one that's available, and during the bid period, okay, let's say that you say, oh, you know what, this 1st to the 15th of October will work for me. You send Mike Carruthers, I think we already went over this, but you send Mike Carruthers an email and say that you'd like to put a bid in for one of those vacation slots, and he'll award it if he can. If he can't, he won't, and then they won't get back to you, but you can either send him a follow-up email or it'll just be posted in the annual vacation awards. So that's how that works. And then if you want to do putting in for your vacation, that's a whole different animal. I'm not going to add that into this video right now. This is just for primary bidding and to help everybody out there hopefully put together some bids that make it work a little bit better for you instead of just kind of taking whatever. Nobody goes over any of this crap with you here at Piedmont. And you know what? I'm kind of hoping that this video is well received, but I hope that, in the near future it becomes obsolete because, maybe we'll get some sort of better bidding system that we'll all be a little bit happier with. But anyway, I'm going to put my email at the end of this and my phone number. Shoot me a text. If we don't know each other, we've never flown with each other, just put in there that, hey, we've never met, you're a Piedmont FO, and, you have a couple questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer anything, or just shoot me an email. But if you're texting me or calling, if you're texting me, just let me know who you are. If you rather just call me, I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm an old school guy. Pick up the phone and call me, and we can probably get to the bottom of it a lot quicker than shooting each other texts. Okay? Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. I hope this helps you, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.